can't believe it. I'm out here with Bird cooking a nice meal. How's it going, Bird?
You cooking a nice meal?
How do you feel about the war?
There's a lot going on, like the Israel-Hamas thing.
No, the more important war.
Did a war start in Iran because the president died?
No, the only war that really matters.
The one on drugs?
Nah, the war that really matters. My war. Wait, that's the wrong one. My war's from the same show. No, I'm talking about the war with That Anime Snob. It's a war. War is upon us. I've been looking. Everybody who watches my stream knows that the most successful streams are the ones that have war in the title.
Is that true?
The only two streams I've got that have way more views than all the other ones both have a war in the title.
Well, that's pretty funny.
Kendrick Lamar's War on Pedophiles.
Oh, yeah.
And the Gender War Double Agent.
Oh shit! Can you real quick run in and grab the lid to this?
Okay, but you gotta talk to the stream.
I knew what war she was talking about. I was messing with it. If that was not clear. Yeah, I don't know. We're cooking chicken and rice. Groceries really expensive. I'm kind of broke right now, so we went to Aldi. We got like a week's worth of groceries for $63. Gotta love Aldi. Yeah, I love war. I'm a big fan of war. You know, like B likes drama or whatever. What comments? What did you do the I love war speech for? Drama? Or?
Oh yeah, I love drama. Yes, that was what that was for comments on comments. Anybody who hasn't seen that? Woo conflict, says Beal Sabab. Hell yeah, we're in it, y'all. It's here. War is actually upon us. I managed to do it. I was like, I need a war. Y'all, I need war. And the war started in the most predictable way. Somebody asked me to say something nice about That Anime Snob. And I did. I said he's probably got more money than I do because I only have $40 in the bank. And apparently he's got $8,000 in the bank. Yeah, he said so. When I said on stream last night that somebody said say something nice about That Anime Snob, I said he's almost certainly got more money than I do. It would be wild if That Anime Snob had less than $40 in the bank.
You have to consider it's Greek money, so it's worth even less.
Oh shit, you're right, it is Greek money. Oh, do we have to adjust for
inflation? Yeah, no shit.
Well, yeah, we have to conversion rates, yes. $8,000's not that much. Well, it is 200 times of $40. So, that's what he said he had 200 times as much as I have, was his actual answer to the question. So, $8,000. But he's put out the call for people to give him money because he knows it's now a contest, because I made it one. I said, I have to make more money. I have to have more money at the end of the year than That Anime Snob. That requires me not to spend all the money I make as well. I have to have more money. Now, if he ends up having $15,000 at the end of the year, that means I have to have $16,000 at the end of the year.
Or $15,000 and $1.
Sure, I would rather beat him by a whole K, you know, if I can get away with it. Now, the only way that this will happen is if all of you give me super chats for rant requests. If everybody thinks it would be funnier for me to lose to That Anime Snob and not have as much money as him at the end of the year, you know, maybe they'll take that option too. But I promise, when I show you the video he made,
it's pretty egregious.
I don't think you're gonna want to be on his team. I gotta say, I'm, you know,
a very Greek video.
A very Greek video, you said? That's hilarious. Does Anime Snob still live with his parents? I have no idea. I live with my parents, so that's, you know, I can't say anything. Hey, Mom, I'm on stream.
Oh, hi.
Do you want to be on? You're not on camera at the moment.
I don't know.
I'm talking about my war.
Yeah.
My war with the Greek man. And not Asterios Kokonos. Although if he wanted war, I'd give it to him too. Although he's a lot scarier.
Scarier, I don't know if that's
I've seen what he will do in the name of spite. You know.
Yeah.
He's an
I
inspiration,
think
if
pretty
anything.
hard to get scenarios to come back.
Root Kasumi says, I'm unemployed, bald, and I live with my mom. I've become George. Well, you know, it happens. It happens. I'm lucky I'm not bald. There's no good reason for it. You know, my brother Shade's... Well, it's just, Shade's already, like, halfway bald, and he's fucking 6 years younger than me. I think it would have been apparent if it was coming by this point. My dad was already balding. I mean, he was already shaving his head by the time he was my age because he was bald enough, you know. So, I don't think it's happening, you know. Sometimes people think I'm balding, but my forehead has just always been that big. It's always been that way. That Anime Snob was never relevant. You gotta realize, this isn't about, like, oh my god, I can't believe he's still alive. How could he still be clinging to relevance? He was never relevant. That Anime Snob has been around for all time.
Like, that guy's still making videos?
Yeah,
Wow.
Jab was surprised. He's still making videos. But that's the thing. People were surprised that he was still making content when they first heard of him. Because when I was warring with that Anime Snob a decade ago, he'd already been hated on the internet for 10 years. He'd already had people who hate... He's been a troll since before there was YouTube. You know, he's written hundreds and hundreds of reviews on places like My Anime List and, you know, anywhere else that you can submit your own user reviews. He's been around forever. He's always been unpopular and unlikable, and he doesn't mind that. The thing is, I know that Anime Snob. I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to be a wrestling heel. His goal is to be the big bad of the anime community. He wants to be the nastiest, edgiest, most opinionated, most fuck everybody else. And he wants the drama. He wants the smoke. He wants people to talk about it. He wants people to come after him. Now, the problem I've always had with that Anime Snob is that he doesn't make a good opponent because nobody likes him. Like, it's... You have to have... You know, both of you have to... Otherwise, it just looks like you're beating up on somebody who sucks, you know? Yeah, punching down, exactly. Like, when I was really successful and he was trying to punch up at me, then if I tried to, you know, come back at him, it felt like, I don't know, am I just beating up this idiot who nobody cares about? But that Anime Snob does have, not unlike me, a stable of really hardcore fans who really love his content, who have supported him out over the years, who spread his messages, who make sure that whoever he's talking about hears what he has to say about them. You know, he's got his little circle of sycophants, and I think his circle of sycophants could be more powerful than mine. I don't know. You know, I don't know if people are as just gung ho for whatever I've got going on as they are with that Anime Snob. So we'll see. We'll see who can truly prevail. I mean, the contest is just who has more money at the end of the year. So, you know, granted, he could go get some major promotion at work or whatever his day job is and end up with more money than me that way, you know? But that's the contest. It's more of a human being contest. It's not just... the money is more so symbolic of who can do a better job of being a person by year's end, I think. That's what we're really competing on. Hey, I've got a super chat. The War Fund grows cheese 1678989. What a name. With £2. What is your favorite plus least favorite American state?
Kansas.
Kansas really sucks. Kansas has really huge punishments for weed crime. A friend of ours was on probation and had to pay a big fine to get out of jail because he got caught with a little bit of weed passing through Kansas. And
Oh, wow.
It's just a big nothing burger for the most part. How's the Lima Rita?
It's Lima Vesa.
Lima Vesa.
It's
Not Lima Rita. Can I try?
It's pretty close.
Pretty close to Buena Vesa?
Yeah. There's no salt in it, so there's nothing to like cut the lime sweet.
Oh yeah.
But
It's
it's-
good though.
It's like really close, isn't it?
I like it. This is the Aldi brand knockoff of Stone's Buena Vesa called Lima Vesa. It's not bad.
I mean, I saw it and I was like, how can they
It's very cheap.
do this?
Yeah. How could it be so similar?
Anyway, I'm gonna go put this stuff back.
But yeah, so Kansas is probably the shittiest state. It's just not that fun to drive through. There's parts of it that aren't as boring as others.
Well, it's pretty in the wintertime.
Like Iowa, or no, Indiana is also, like, there's things I like about Indiana, but driving through it is maybe the most mind-numbing driving experience in the country. As for my favorite state, if it wasn't for the law there, it would be Utah. Like, in terms of just what is the coolest looking state, the coolest state to be in. And frankly, it is so open, it's so spacious that it's, you know, you're not really that worried about the law there, but nonetheless, it's, you know, they're not even allowed to sell alcohol that's more than like 5% alcohol, like beer that's more than 5% alcohol there. It's pretty tragic. So, you know, Colorado's a little too expensive. California is very cool, but also too expensive and full of just some of the shittiest people. What is my favorite state? I like Virginia as a place to live. There's a lot of fun place to explore here. And particularly after discovering the area of Virginia that's just full of breweries last month. Utah is Maddox's state, but he hates Utah. He hated it completely. He saw no value in it. And I think, you know, I think living in Utah probably isn't as interesting as exploring it, but it is a great place to explore.
Post Malone does it.
Post Malone lives in Utah?
Yes, he does.
I didn't know that.
I didn't see him
Well, you know that he's doing illegal shit in Utah. There ain't no way that he's just not doing any of the things he does because he's in Utah. Not trying to I'm not trying to call out Post Malone or anything. I'm just stating the obvious. Nevada is my favorite state, but also Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia area is awesome too, says Mint. Also, hello, says Mint. Hello, Mint. How's it going? What's going on? Can never thank Mint enough for introducing me to the vertical live streaming wave. I would not have tried doing this if not for seeing how successful Mint was on it. And I've been making more money doing this than I have done anything else in a long time. Which is why I stepped up to challenge That Anime Snob to see who will have more money by the end of the year. Now, I could show you all That Anime Snob's video. I think I'm going to have to, so that you really understand the situation. But I have to warn you that it is deeply edgy. And I know this stream is edgy. I literally threatened to murder That Anime Snob on the last episode, which started this war. But it's a different type of edgy. You know, I've got my brand of edginess, he's got his brand of edginess, and they don't gel. That's why this is such a sweet, sweet war to have on my hands. Let me show you what he has to say, all right? Let's all watch this together. I warn you, again, trigger warning. Oh wait, there's no sound coming out. Do I have Bluetooth on or something? Am I connected to a speaker somewhere? No? Why can't I hear fucking shit? There's no audio coming out. Let me figure out why the audio is not coming out, and then I will play you exactly what this man has said. Speakers. Yes, just my normal speakers, please.
Alright, that smells awesome. That's a really good picture.
Oh yeah, me with the knives.
What is that from?
I don't know. I look really cross-eyed. I don't know if that's an edit. I assume it's an edit because I don't know how I could get my eyes to do that. For some reason, my laptop doesn't want to play noise right now. Oh, it's because I have no internet connection. Maybe the connection is too shitty out here for me to do this. I'm trying to show you all what That Anime Snob had to say. All of his offensive remarks. But I will say this, before we get into it. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know, my fucking computer won't connect to the internet out here. So, you know, I said, I basically said to That Anime Snob last night on stream that if he wanted a quick W, he could make a video about how he has more money than me. But that if he calls me Digibro or a pedophile in that video, I will murder him. I was extremely clear. You don't spread lies about me, I won't tell truths about you, like Kendrick Lamar. You know, I'm not trying to have to end his life, but he could easily make that happen. Now, Snob was careful. He was very careful in his approach to his video, because he doesn't say the word Digibro all the way, and doesn't call me a pedophile, which that was the real test. If you can manage to have this war with me without calling me a pedophile, we can do this back and forth. We can have this go round. So he didn't do that. So his life is spared. I'm not going to literally murder That Anime Snob for now. Although he did, you know, I said in there also he wouldn't tell the authorities because that would look bitch made, and he seemingly agreed, but then told his audience to tell the authorities.
Very Maddox of him.
How? Yeah, very Maddox of him, like you said. Yeah, very. It's not. It doesn't make sense. It's like that's still cop calling. There's no difference. Telling somebody else to call the police is not different from calling the police. So, still bitch made, still cowardly. He also, I don't know, he just doesn't seem to understand how American police works, or like the legal system here. He was like, send the police this video so they'll put
her in a mental asylum.
yeah, put her. Well, he didn't say her, but so put her in a mental asylum. I'm like, that's not. They would, first of all, if they thought it was a credible threat, they would put my ass in fucking jail. They would not put me in a mental asylum.
Ronald Reagan did away with all that?
Yeah, we don't have mental asylums here in the United States. We have mental health facilities that you'll get put in if you're like really manic. But if the cops show up to the house and ask me if I am going to buy a plane ticket to go murder a Greek guy because he, called me Digibro, I'm gonna raise one eyebrow very slowly at him until he walks out of my house. So yeah. But the main thrust of his video is misgendering me constantly, because he's like, oh, well, you didn't say I could, you said I couldn't dead name you, you didn't say I couldn't misgender you. So the video is a lot of him leaning in on the he. I would do my old, you remember, everyone must remember how I have the most amazing That Anime Snob impression. But I can't do it right anymore because his microphone no longer sounds like a tin can. He just sounds like he's talking to you like a normal Greek guy. And there's none of the extra funny... You gotta make your audio shitty again. It was a lot funnier. I miss the shitty audio. Just listening to like a Greek guy be upset is not funny to me. It needs to sound like shit, man. I don't know why I turned him like a little Mexican there at the end, but... Anybody who's got any questions for me, put it in the form of a super chat. I will literally disregard all questions that aren't paid. This is a war campaign. I cannot afford to tell you free information. I literally can't. I have to beat That Anime Snob. It's all you're gonna hear about for the rest of the year. You're gonna be like, That Anime Snob? Trixie? Who's Trixie? She used to be Digibro? What the fuck, are we living in 2014? What the fuck is going on? Why do these old fucks still talk about anime on the internet? You know how fucking old we are? We're so old. But that's the fun of it. We can all be old and fight on the internet. People are so afraid of being old. Being old rules. I've been waiting for my hair to go gray for so fucking long. I'm so happy. I didn't pick the name Witch so I could be a young person. What color am I dyeing my hair next? I probably won't. It did a lot of damage to my hair bleaching it over and over again. Like right now, the only part you can still see, there's like a tiny bit of blonde at the end. ASC presents with the $5. First, a huge dick with what appears to be a cut through it. I have no context as to what has happened between you and That Anime Snob. Could you explain, please? Also, I just got my IUD replaced. Sure. So That Anime Snob is a long time troll, internet troll, deep tier, old school anime fan. You know, he's been an anime fan. I think he's been watching anime since the 90s. He really likes 80s and 90s, masculine, plot-driven, sci-fi type stuff, you know? He likes stuff that makes him feel smart or badass. And, you know, in the 2000s, particularly the 2010s, I have to get away from this fucking construction noise. In the 2000s and 2010s, there was a huge boom of moe, of cute girl anime, of stuff that's not masculine or isn't plot-driven. And oftentimes it's more about having attractive character designs and pretty colors. Now, I have always been very much on the side of moe. I've been, you know, a big proponent of moe since 07 or so. So, even though That Anime Snob and I did not clash in the early days, in the blogging days, I would not be at all surprised if we were basically talking about one another, like, through seeing 4chan posts, you know, of, like, the generic person who hates moe versus the generic person who defends moe. That's sort of, if I were to boil us down to, like, you know, the most essential, iconic, simplistic, like, way of describing why do the two of us have to butt heads so much? Why have we been clashing for so many years? That's what it's about. I used to be Pretty Colors Digibro to him, which I totally embraced. I thought that was funny. And That Anime Snob has always just been that dumb Greek idiot who everyone hates. I've never had a clever nickname for him. I've just been doing the funny voice. So, circa 2014, 2015, when I was first being, like, really anime-centric, actually, I want to say our beef escalated probably in early 2016. But That Anime Snob has a history of, because he's not popular, you know, his videos they're terribly edited, they sound like shit, his opinions are wrong. He spends most of the time not really justifying his opinions, but just kind of emphatically stating them, you know? So his videos have always sucked. And I don't know if they've gotten any better. The new one's not better, other than the audio quality's gotten a little better. But, you know, so he's always, in order to grow himself, just shit on everybody else in the sphere. He's always made videos about every other popular anime YouTuber. The more popular, the more videos he makes about them, so that people will pay attention to him. You know, he basically wants to gather all of everyone's haters. He's like, hey, if you hate all these mainstream idiots, if you think that all these people are wrong, I'm your guy. I'm the one who's going to hate all those people for you. So that's him in 2015, 2016, just making videos about people all the time. So I became one of those targets. The thing about Snob is his videos are so low effort, he can churn them out constantly. So he'll put out, like, a video every day, sometimes several in a day, just reacting to every single drama, every controversy that's going on, right? Now, I kind of touched on this a little bit ago, but I sort of ignored a lot of this at first because I just saw it as beneath me. I didn't want to be seen as punching down at some idiot who nobody cares about, you know, giving him more attention than he needs at the time. Even though people kind of kept begging for it to happen. So eventually he and I did do a podcast together. It was like 35 minutes long. I mostly just shit on him relentlessly the whole time. And I remember both of us published it, I think. But I think mine was just on Reddit. I published mine to, like, my subreddit, and he published his version to the channel, I think. I'm struggling to remember. But yeah, we did a show together. I had made a video talking shit about him. I don't remember if that was before or after. That got, like, a pretty good amount of views. And so, you know, it was just, like, a fun thing that people liked at the time. It was me and Snob going at it. But back then, I also took things a little bit more seriously, where through talking to Snob, it became clear to me that to him, this was a wrestling match. He wanted to be the big heel. He wanted to be the big bad of the anime sphere. But most of the people that he was taking shots at, they didn't look at it that way. They did not want to be in a wrestling match. They did not want this to be the WWE. They wanted it to be a different thing, you know? And I was more in that boat where I was like, I don't, you know, like I get what you're trying to do, but it's not working. Like, you're not creating the atmosphere you're trying to create. Well, over the years, I've thought about it a lot. And I always kind of wished I had stayed in that beef with Snob, because it was fun. It's fun for the audience. The only people who don't like it are people who don't want to have to acknowledge that that guy exists at all, you know? They're like, I don't want to have to hear his fucking sniveling voice and his shitty opinions and his homophobia. Yeah, I'm gonna play the clip for you once I can from his show. Unless you can just go to his channel, I guess, and go watch it. But, you know, I mean, the main thrust of his video is that all queers are violent psychopaths, and I've proven it by telling him I would kill him. That's where he's coming from. That's his angle. It is very, 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 very openly homophobic. So, I watched that, and I went, oh, wow, I guess we're really gonna have to do this. Because, to me and him, it might be funny, but I don't think it'll be funny to anybody else. That he said those things, you know, that he has those opinions. So, you know, war it is. I can't read fucking shit from where I'm standing, so. Yes, I've got a super chat for $1 from Joseph Hicken. Thank you very much, contributing to the war bond.
Well, just to let you know, this person sent you $1 super chat to try and get you to talk about if you're friends with the PCP still or not. I don't think $1 is enough.
Well, there wasn't any text in that super chat.
They had asked a question, and I said if you ask a question without attaching money to it, it's disrespectful to the war effort.
Yeah, yeah.
The answer.
So he thought that just like attaching the dollar would be, no, the text has to come with the money. You gotta put it all in a package together, buddy. You gotta put it all in one cohesive thing together. You know, if you can only afford $1, maybe don't bother super chatting. Like, maybe let someone who's got money do it. You know, it's not everyone's job to super chat. It can be your job to go gather me information. Find me dirt on that anime snob. Tell me things the world needs to know about that this guy has said. Other than the flagrantly awful things he says in the video responding to me. You know, there's so many gay ops you could be doing for me right now. I like the money. I need the money to beat that anime snob, but that's all I need the money for. You know, nobody really needs money. You can live off the land. I'll eat fucking onions out of the ground. I don't give a shit. I need to beat that anime snob. Now, Illusion is talking right here with the check, $20. Thank you. Says, pull 1,500 and it'll let me knock at his door. Well, if you want to go knock at his door, you go right ahead. You're in... I don't remember where you're in. You're not in Greece, are you? Is that the cost of a plane ticket? For the record, there is one lie, one big lie in That Anime Snob's video, and I don't think it's a big enough deal for me to make it, to blow it out of proportion. But I said that my goal was to make more money than him by the end of the year. And I might have said something like that I can't afford to actually go murder him. So he put those two together and said in his video that I was trying to raise money to buy a flight to Greece to murder him. I never said that. But it's not that big a deal. Alright, we've got another super chat here. I can barely fucking read this. Green Day 103921 Gun. You still talk with Endless Jess. Not any time recently. No. It's been at least a year since I last heard from him. The last I heard from PCP, everybody was still at war. It was very much Jesse versus Ben, and I just didn't want to be involved in it. So I kind of just noped myself out of, noped myself out of that situation. Mostly because everybody is so serious about it. And, I'm looking for this type of war with That Anime Snob.
May I interrupt? Why do your fans have to be such annoying contrarians sometimes?
Why?
Well, she answered questions about the PCP for free on the last 3 live streams. It's and I'm telling you that's not the case anymore. I told you that.
Yeah.
And
Guys, times change. The world is constantly moving. I wasn't at war with That Anime Snob in the last stream. You really got to keep up with the times. You really got to move with the fucking look. This is constant live streaming, all right? There is no static state here. It's going to be different all the time. If you're not paying attention, you're not going to know what's going on. If you're not following the narrative, I'm so sick of fucking dumbing shit down for people who don't follow the narrative. For people who are like, but you didn't spoon feed me all the information. I can't believe I have to go listen to hours of vlogs. Yeah, that's the content, dude. There's hours of vlogs. You listen to it or you fuck off. Figure out what's going on, people. Come on. Keep up with the programming. You don't just skip episodes of shows you're watching and then complain that the plot doesn't make sense. That's not how it works. Anyway, that was kind of random. That wasn't really a rant
The
request.
guy who
or
said
anything.
that is like, oh my god, it's just a misunderstanding. It was
I missed Anonymous with $1. Hey, don't trip. Look, just remember, you're all in early, so you get the wink and nod. You know, you're all in early enough to this whole thing going on here that I can tell you that everything I say is not serious. It's on the internet. It's a character. That's the point. It's a joke. It's a meme. But if you say that, it ruins the joke. It ruins the meme. So I can't say it anymore. Like, those of you who are here now at the ground floor of whatever the fuck this is, you get to know, nobody else gets to know. And you shouldn't tell them unless it's legal. Unless it's a legal issue. Then you should be like, no, it's a comedy act. But you can't just say that. Then it loses its bite, you know? I think the difficulty of the internet has brought into the world is autistic people don't understand implication, and it's so integral to life. But like when you have to, like when somebody is always going to raise their hand to ask you to spell it out, it's like at some point you have to go, I'm sorry, but like you can't. If you can't do some of the investigation, if you can't do some of the legwork in your own mind, it's gonna be, you know, there's a point where, right, like, and because information is dense, like if you're trying to speak in a coded way where you're packing a lot of information and you don't have time to then break all that down, you know? June with $4.99 says, what do you think will help us deal with the consequences of the internet on society the best? Jesus Christ, I did not want to be standing right next to that fucking thing when it turned on. I think going outside, and it's tough because I think the internet, it's a powerful tool for good and bad, and I think that people convince themselves that they are too incorrect because of the internet. That's what I'll say. The internet tries to make you feel as though you have to know everything and be perfect in all ways. That like you somehow need to personally be perfect. Whereas like what should be good is like collective. Like we should collectively be advancing, not like one person has to fucking, you know, become Jesus so that they can speak to the internet or whatever. And I think a lot of where that trouble comes from is like, how do I put it? I think that too many people, like, they start learning that the world is dark and complicated and that their relationships are going to be dark and complicated, and they start closing themselves off from connections because they don't want to deal with the consequences of interaction, you know, that like nobody sees things the same way you do, and that's sad, and a lot of people get really depressed about it, but it's like it's just that's life, you know, like people don't see things your way. You have to learn how to deal with it and work with them anyways, you know. And I think a big part of it will be convincing people that inside of their house is not safer than outside of their house. That like being online and talking to people online is actually more dangerous for you mentally than talking to people in real life is. That like, you know, or even just in like a literal safety, like people act like you're not just gonna die when you're in your house. Like, you're not just gonna fall down the stairs, or like, fucking your neighbor's house catches on fire and their oil drum blows up and now you're dead too. There's just so many. People felt unsafe all the time and lived in that reality. Like, not trying to escape to a safer feeling world, but just living in an unsafe world. Like accepting anxiety as a fact of life and not as something that needs to be rejected or run away from. That felt like a good rant.
The food's ready.
Food is ready. I hate this sound environment. And I got another super chat. So I'm going to answer the super chat and then decide if I want to keep the stream going or just
I'm going to
restart
say
it.
we should go inside if we're going to keep streaming. We should go inside anyway. But
Yeah.
your granddad's occupational health nurse is here in the living room, so probably not
So
the
we will
best.
definitely cut the stream and then bring it back. We're going to do that. I hate to do it when I've got so many viewers. This is a hot stream. It's going well. It's going beautifully. But, let me go ahead and answer Mark Moon with $5. Are you more of a Hassan leftist or more of a Destiny leftist or a leftist at all?
What does that even mean?
All I know of Hassan is that he is a terrible fucking person. That's it. I don't know anything about his politics. I only know that he's a terrible fucking person. That's it. So I'm definitely not a Hassan leftist. Destiny, I debated once. It's the biggest L I've ever taken, and just accepted it. Even though my friends think I won the debate, that doesn't matter. Being right doesn't mean you win. Being right...
Hassan is not that bad. Man preaches communism, owns a multi-million-dollar house and multi-million-dollar car, and justifies it constantly, says terrible things constantly, is just the worst asshole I've ever seen on the internet. What is wrong with you if you think Hassan isn't that bad? It's like saying Vaush isn't that bad.
Yeah, a lot of those guys, I mean, again, I guess the circles I run in, I never hear about these people's opinions. I only hear about their actions, which is all I really care about. And Hassan is one of those where it's always like, why did you do that? Why did you what? Anyway, about Destiny, I took the L. And, eventually he became friends with Dick Masterson, whom the whole reason I debated Destiny was to defend Dick Masterson, who had debated him before and also taken the L. They ended up becoming friends. Destiny's come around on a lot of stuff. I don't actually know any of his opinions. I just think he seems like an okay guy that I might get along with. Another fast-talking, big-headed twink, I think we could get along. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he would just think I was boring. But nonetheless, I don't regard people for their politics. I don't take politics seriously. I don't take anybody's ideas seriously. All I care about is what you do. I don't care what you believe. You could believe... I can have a very easy time talking to somebody who legitimately believes I am going to go to hell, as long as they're not telling me, you're going to go to hell, I can't believe that you're gay, blah, 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 blah. If they're just like, hey, could you pass the salt? And I'm like, sure. I do not give a fuck if they think I'm going to hell. They're wrong. They can think whatever they want. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't affect me. Doesn't change my life, So I don't really care about what people think. I care about what they do. Would I consider myself a leftist? No. I don't know what it means. I don't care to know what it means. And when people call themselves stuff like that, I'm like, all right, you're a thing. I don't know about being a thing. Destiny wants anime recommendations?
Evangelion.
Shoso Giga and Concrete Revolutio and the Tatami Galaxy. Those are my 3 recommendations for Destiny. So Destiny, if you hear... somebody can send this to Destiny. If you really want anime recommendations, I am the best at anime recommendations. I'm not trying to screw with you. I took the L from our debate. I do think you would enjoy... I would be most interested to hear Destiny's thoughts on Concrete Revolutio. That show is very political, very historical, very dense, difficult. It's not a popular show, but people who like it really like it. It's gorgeous to look at. It's animated by Studio Bones. I think he would get a lot out of that, and I would get a lot out of hearing him talk about it. So if I had to pick a show that Destiny would watch, I would pick Concrete Revolutio. Kyoso Giga and Tatami Galaxy, I think he'd enjoy too. They're all very fast-talking, dense, you know, shows with something to say. Which I assume is his taste. I don't know for sure. All right, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back in a bit after we eat and charge my phone.
Oh, let's show the.
And my granddad's nurse is gone. Oh yeah, here's the results of the cooking.
It's chicken and rice and coffee and bell peppers and beans and.
Is this a risotto? Is
No,
this what a
no,
risotto
it's
is?
not what risotto is.
Chicken and rice with beans. All right,
Would you bring me
see you all in a couple hours.
hot